All your resolution or motions on action item 7.3.
I move to approve the resolution to increase spending limitations. Resolution 2425.193.
Moving second, any further discussion? All right, and all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes 3-0. On 7.4. Approve 2025-26 academic calendar.
So what you've got in front of you is one of the four options of the academic calendar was presented to the staff for review and feedback. So some key points about the 25-26 calendar. It represents the best efforts of the district in collaboration with staff associations, represents meeting the collective bargaining requirements or the Department of Education requirements, also attaining to professional development into the district and staff in a manner that is thoughtful of holiday and extended breaks in relation to our community. Should 1 to 4 school days be missed in inclement weather prior to January 5th, 2026 and February 16th, 2026 float days, the float days may be added in order to meet minimum instructional hours required for the state. Additional days may be added at the end of the school year as required to meet minimum instructional hour requirements and unexpected emergency closures. There were 4 calendar options shared with staff. Of the 4, the calendar being recommended for approval tonight received the most favorable feedback from staff. In relation to the first week of school, we'll start on September 3rd for grades 1 through 5, 6, and 9 to assist in supporting the transition of 6th and 9th grade students to a new school level. And September 4th for all grades, including 7, 8, 10, 11, and 12. Just more to transition to kindergarten. Kindergarten students will have a special schedule the first week. Kindergartners will begin the school year on the staggered start schedule with half attending on September 3rd and half on September 4th. Friday, September 5th will be a no school day for kindergartners, which supports the teacher development of class rosters, and all kindergartners will resume school on September 8th. The release for all grades, it is designated early release days for professional collaboration. Collaboration time allows for staff to work together and plan the best ways to support individual students without requiring additional no school delays. This collaboration time is key to allowing schools to build a network of support that can help all students achieve our vision. There are 32 early release days identified on the calendar for all grade levels, with 8 being district directed, 11 being building directed, and I got some typos here. And 14 being teacher directed. Other key dates, conferences are October 29th through 30th with half-day students, and teacher conferences taking place from 12 to 8. Winter break is December 22nd to January 2nd. Spring break is March 23rd through the 27th. And the graduation for the class of 2026 is June 5th, 2026. The last day of school for students is June 10th, 2026, and there are 175 student contact days in this calendar. All Pleasant schools are on a semester calendar. If there's any questions, I'll take them. Otherwise, it's recommended the board of directors approve the 25-26 academic calendar as presented.
Calendar.
Second.
Then second, any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Approved 3-0. Action item 7.5. Approve CMGC resolution. Let's have talk. You guys are much more versed in this kind of stuff than I am. I'll just sit down right now, but I'm happy to facilitate the conversation. So, what thoughts or questions do you guys have?
That's what I, some of them say.
I share some of John's concerns that there are things, I think that personally, the CNGC route is probably a wise choice, just that's my own experience, we deal with it all the time. Kurt spoke wisely that both have their pitfalls, and I think we need to be diligent to avoid those. The problem I have is there are several things in there that just aren't true. Well, it's not fair. There are several things in there that aren't necessarily the case. For example, change orders is just one stickler, but it's like they're not going to be less money in a GMC versus a design build, which is just not. The money that the district is probably not going to save money by doing this. The district is likely to save hassle and trouble by doing this. I think the project could go smoother. Again, I think it's a decent choice, but there are details in there that just aren't accurate, or at least from my perspective, aren't accurate. I'm not sure what we're supposed to do with it. Because like John suggested, that doesn't represent my opinion as a board member that all those things are true. However, I would go ahead and support the recommendation to go with the CMGC perspective. I don't know what to do with that for sure.
I believe that and Kurt brought this up, the finding of fact is a really boilerplate document. To get to the process that we're in right now.
Well, yeah, no, I get that, and that's part of my concern is, okay, doesn't make it true.
Right.
I mean, it doesn't mean I just know in my experience, not all those things happen. In fact, quite often they don't. So I'm not 100% sure how to reconcile that in saying the board has found.
That'd be fact defining is there anything within the resolution then that you feel would need to be adjusted?
Is this resolution in here?
Yeah. So it's the resolution 2425.195.
Which is that there you go.
And so I will take you all the way down to the 1, 2, 3, the fourth whereas. So whereas the board has reviewed the written findings of fact supporting the use of the construction manager general contractor method for the Buzzell High School gymnasium, including 1, substantial cost savings and risk reduction. The CMGC method reduces financial risk by ensuring contractor financial stability, establishing a guaranteed maximum price, and minimizing the cost of change orders.
Let me comment there just so I'm clear. That may be true, but it may not be. Again, you can have exactly that same result with the design bid build. So is it possible? Yes. So I guess I don't disagree with it's possible.
Okay. 2, specialized expertise. The CMGC process allows the district to select a contractor with experience in seismic rehabilitation of historic buildings, enhancing project efficiency and quality.
Same problem.
Yep.
Same reality. Is that possible? Yes, it is.
Yep.
Could you do it another way? Yes, you can.
3, improve safety and coordination. Construction will occur adjacent to an active school environment, requiring careful planning and phased implementation to ensure the safety of students, staff, and the public. Public place. No diminished competition or favoritism. CMGC will be selected through a competitive request for proposal process that ensures fairness and transparency. And it's kind of up to the people that are running it, right? 5, compliance with ORS and ORA requirements. The exemption meets the statutory requirements for alternative procurement methods and does not adversely impact project funding or operations. Probably the most definitive of all.
Yeah, 5 seems to be the only one that's absolutely true.
These are justifications for using the CMGC method. And the first 4, I think are definitely off. It appears the author was biased towards the CMGC method. And the reality of construction, you can't say you cannot say that you're going to have substantial cost savings. You may have no cost savings or none, you know, or go the other direction. That there is no way that you can guarantee that with CMGC. Specialized expertise, the same thing. You can qualify your bidders to get the expertise you need. One of the other things that was mentioned was the financial stability of the contractor. Again, a performance bond, that takes care of financial stability. That's an insurance policy that guarantees the project will be done for the dollars. Or somebody's gonna, you know, it's gonna get paid for. Improved safety and coordination. I don't think there's anyone in the construction world right now who's going to want to come in here and injure a child or a staff member. We all work in a much more heightened safety environment than ever before. And so to say that someone who's coming in as a bidder is going to have any less of a safety outlook than the CMGC contractor, you can't say that. And competition favoritism, there's favoritism in the CMGC. There's favoritism any way you look at it. You know, you have a CMGC contractor, they're going to invite certain subs to come and give them bids, and others they're not. And there's favoritism in that. So basically, you've got a series of justifications for the CMGC method in this resolution that really are, to me, false, with the exception of number 5, it's allowed by law.
That. Are we being asked? Are we being asked to confirm these things are true, or are we being asked to approve the CMGC plan?
You're being asked to approve the resolution, which would be to approve the CMGC plan. The 1 through 5 are the findings of fact that would support using the CMGC plan.
There's some requirement that we have to have all the spike impacts in there. We can't just say.
I don't believe that there, yeah, I don't believe that there is. I believe what ends up, so what we're going away from is the more traditional, I think, RFP type of process, which would put us in a position where we would take the lowest bidder for this, similar to what we did with that's more of a recommendation for a smaller project, less money, less complexity of somebody coming in with engineering pieces of a gymnasium. And so to shift to go to the CMGC, we have to go through the sharing process, which has the finding of fact, which is in the ORS and OARs.
Require that these things be true in order to move to the CMGC, or are these just reasons why we're stating we think it's a good idea?
These are reasons why we're stating it's a good idea, and that's part of the public hearing where people come in to be able to say that's not the case.
So we could just make a resolution saying we're switching to the CMGC for this specific project.
Yeah, I would switching to CMGC just for this project.
All right,
Yeah,
that's what this is laid out to me anyways, to say that listing a specific project and say we're going to pursue that method for this project, for everything we do.
correct. This is just for the seismic rehabilitation project.
Right.
Yeah. I would never, I don't think do this, for instance, like with the forestry project.
Right.
We can manage that project without in-house having an architect work with us side by side in doing that. And just like in that process, when we bring up change orders, that is where to the normal RFP process where the contractors look to make their money is through those change orders. Or if you haven't gone through the design process well enough with the architect and you get in a position where, yeah, you're having to do change order after change order after change order.
But that's where I have my beef, that's not always true.
No, it's not, but I think that's the case on, there's arguments made both ways, yeah. I think for this, we can argue the findings of fact and how true they are, if we say are true or not true. The issue that we're getting down to is the complexity of what we're being asked to do with this project. And I think the idea that it is a grant from the state that has got a price, other than some of the issues the add-ons that I've talked to you about that I would like to get done in part of this, like the upgrade of the lighting that would come from the district. It's just not something that we can take on, I think,
So,
through the RFP process.
I mean, would it like, could we summarize these 5 points into something that says? We're pursuing the CMGC method, we don't find any substantial difference in all these different things rather than our normal process, but we feel it would keep us within cost estimates and stuff for the specific project, something like that, where it, that makes it a little more palatable, I guess. I think makes more sense. Does that make more sense? Or what are your thoughts?
I just don't believe it to be true.
Right, so I'm saying,
That's,
instead of like,
that's the problem.
I'm saying,
You're asking me to support justifications I do not believe to be true.
right, so I'm saying, get rid of all these limitations and say instead, we want to use this method. Because we don't feel like any of these things would be worse with the CMC. And it would keep the costs in line, like more so that we're not gonna have project overruns.
And we don't know that. That's the problem.
Well, is that the main reason we're switching to CMC?
No, I think that under that argument, we would probably never approve the CMGC process because there's cases that can be made to where the findings of fact at some point in time have not been true. There's going to be arguments that can be made. So for instance, where I think like number one, I think what we're arguing is the word substantial cost savings. And so it's could be rewording those substantial cost savings to better fit the descriptor that comes next, which is the CMGC method reduces financial risk by ensuring contractor financial stability. But then we're looking at possibly then editing the word ensuring because it maybe doesn't always ensure contractor financial stability. Or I didn't hear that. I heard that it was that the RFP process that there's way to ensure there's ways through the RFP process to ensure contractor financial stability as well. But then that's not what this is saying. This is just saying that as part of this process, you can reduce financial risk by ensuring contractor financial stability.
What was the main reason that we want to pursue the CMGC method for this project?
The complexity of the project. So in our board updates is where I gave you the breakdown between the
Sure.
plus and minus.
So why don't you just say that as our justification for why we don't do this?
Because the findings of fact to be able to go through the CMGC process has to be more in depth to be able to do that.
Why?
So that the district does not find itself in a position of lawsuit from the contractor feeling like they were unfavorably not allowed to be part of the process.
Why would that?
Because it's in our policies that we've got to go through this, it's with the state laws, statute.
So because if we don't list these 4 things, if we just said this project is complicated and we want to use this process to help simplify it.
I would say that, I'm not an attorney. But I would guess that our attorney would say that you could do that and your risk goes up of somebody challenging your findings.
Well, I'm not an attorney either, but I pretend like I'm one every day. Usually I'm right. If I were to wordsmith this, I would, for example, on the first one, and maybe this isn't possible, but the CMGC method might reduce financial risk. That's true. the CMG process might allow the district to, no, it does allow the district to select a contractor with experience, that's fine. Construction will occur adjacent to activity and it might improve the safety. I mean, these are things that make more sense to me. That I'm not asserting are true and may well be the case and that it might not.
Or we can say.
So is there a problem, do we have to assert that these things, or can we say they're likely, or they might? I mean, that's where I'm. Obviously struggling, and again, I don't know where you're at, John, I'm not opposed to the methodology, personally. I am obviously struggling with the language.
Yeah, I would, I guess I'd say this, is that we either can pull it, rewrite it and bring it back. Or, given that we had no, or we had one comment during the public hearing, but the comment was not against it, as public hearing is usually time where somebody would come in and say, I disagree with what is happening. We received none, so as far as the process in terms of the statute and the OARs, our due diligence would be finished tonight with this portion of it. Need to wordsmith if we could. I would say we would be coming back with a product that would essentially say we don't. We don't believe in other findings of fact, but we don't have any findings of fact to be able to warrant moving forward with this NGC process.
Well,
Which is better we say,
We just,
better said.
the findings of facts are appropriate, we just don't guarantee that all those things are gonna happen. We think they're likely or highly likely, or, you know.
Yeah, and I don't think that this is I don't read this as a guarantee for anything.
Well, it says the CMGC method reduces financial risk.
And that can be shown to be true.
Right, can be, or is likely to, or.
That's my point, that's my point.
Do we not already have gross maximum price in the
200,
The 2.5 million.
yeah,
and that's,
and we have a standard of the life and safety and immediate occupancy that's defined in the ASCE 41-17.
Refresh my memory, where did the number come from the grant?
That is the max number that is allowable from the state for this particular grant.
So there's been no survey, cursory or otherwise, of the building to determine
Yeah.
what the needs may be, what the costs may be,
So that was,
whether it's less expensive to upgrade the building versus tear it down. So this is just kind of all a guess to start with.
nope, that was the TAP grant that we did, but the engineer came out, reviewed all of our structures, had the plans of all of our structures, and then identified that structure as the structure that would be
Deficient.
not, well, we have a few buildings that are deficient in terms of. The idea that I'm gonna use the life safety and immediate occupancy. That was the building in which, if there was a significant event, would house the most amount of people or had the most use within the district. That the feeling was, this is the one that you really want to spend the money towards making it safe.
But there's no idea of what the cost would be.
No, because we haven't gone through that process yet.
Yeah,
Other than having an engineer that took us through the TAP grant process who was selected based on their expertise in being able to do this. Which was a previous meeting that we brought WRK engineers for approval.
but what I'm saying is we don't have any idea right now what the cost would be for seismic upgrades. You can't put a dollar figure to it within.
2.5 million.
Well, that's just because that's all they would get.
Correct, and that was the WRK, cost breakdown, was letter set at 2.5 million. But you're right, until they get further in.
Ask for as much as you can get.
Sure.
But we don't have any idea what the cost overruns may be on the project at all. To complete it.
There will not be overruns that will come upon the district to be able to pay.
I know, I'm just saying, you start the project, you don't know what you're getting into.
But that's not accurate.
Well, I'm asking the question as to what engineering has been done to determine the extent of the repairs and put a cost estimate to those.
So
And you say that, and they did put a number to that,
yes.
and it was 2.5 million at that time.
Correct.
This seems like the first step in something like this is involving the architect or an engineering firm, or they would engage the engineer to figure out what needs to be done and then get some idea of the cost, but and I understand that's what you want the CMGC to do.
Well, we did that. That was through the TAP grant and the grant that you approved that we sent to the state. That WRK put together for us. That's where all that work was.
They
done.
did do that.
Yes.
Well, that's kind of the question I've been trying to
And
ask.
that's why I keep saying.
Maybe I'm
that's
not hearing
two.
your answer, but yeah.
So that was, so. We applied for the TAP grant. The TAP grant was awarded. WRK came in and did reviewed all the buildings, the infrastructure that we had. Based off of their feelings as engineers in doing this work and the amount of use that gymnasium gets, that was the one that they identified that was the best candidate to apply for the grant. They then applied for that grant, which included a budget to be able to do the work and details of what that work would include. That grant was awarded. We then came back to the board for the approval of continuing with that work. The board approved it. We then went through a selection process based on qualifications for WRK engineering. To be able to do that, brought that to the board approved that as well. So now we're here looking to do the CMG process for the project.
Even though that's some wording, or if you reword it.
Is there any way to write in a summary of the findings of the facts that don't completely just diminish them as a finding to ensure that there's,
Yeah, words like highly likely, or really, really, really might, or.
well, I mean, but that diminishes it to such a low level that there is no sense finding a fact at that point in time.
Well, but you keep saying finding the fact, and I understand that.
Okay,
But I'm sitting here, and so is John, saying, I know those aren't true sometimes.
sometimes,
Yeah, sometimes.
correct.
So,
But that's what I'm asking, if the choice is 100% true or not true at all? Have we diminished it so far that
Well, I don't know, I mean,
there's no way to even go through this process?
it seems to me, play lawyer again, but it seems to me like. Having qualifiers that allow us to say, again, I'm speaking for myself, you know, things about the CMGC in general. But generally speaking, these things are found to be true. That's different than saying they're always true,
Right.
because they're not always true. So that's why I would prefer to slightly modify the language to say that it's typically the case. It's almost always the case, whatever the words are. If that. Maybe I'm overestimating what it means by saying in number one, in the resolution, approves and adopts the findings of fact. Supporting the use of the CMGC method for Pleasant Hill. If the findings of fact are, which is usually the case, I'm great. If the finding of facts are, it's always the case, not.
And I don't read this as these are always 100%.
And help me get there with you. Why isn't it that these are always the case? Why is that not the case?
I say, why is it not the case?
Why is there room for my concern in this language?
Well, if we took number one, substantial cost savings and risk reduction. True or not true?
Mine. It doesn't always.
No,
Zero, yeah.
Well, I understand that. No, that's what I'm getting at, but I think when we start to say, is that sometimes true?
Yes,
And does that read as though it is always true?
Why does it have to read as if all is true?
It doesn't have to. But that's what I'm saying, it doesn't.
I certainly don't believe it was true for the last major project down at Pleasant Hill.
And I would go with this project. And like we brought up the bonds situation. This project is a $2,499,940 project as awarded by state of Oregon.
That was $17,955,000.
That's a different. There are differences. The specialized expertise, so the process allows the district to select a contractor with experience in seismic rehabilitation of historic buildings, enhancing projects, the efficiency and quality.
that's true.
Improve safety and coordination, construction will occur adjacent to an active school environment, requiring careful planning, phase implementation to ensure the safety of student staff and the public. So the argument to this one might be that if we went through an RFP process and we had to choose the lowest bid, we could be choosing a contractor who would not have any experience for construction in the school environment.
No, you go. That's goes right back to number two. You would call for your bidders. It's not difficult to do.
Well, that's what I'm just
But
playing the advocate of like,
you want you bidders.
could be, well, no, but that's a little bit different process in the qualification of bidders versus the RFP process, which in the process has to take the lowest bid. Which I think was Rusty's point when we did the other project, you don't always get the best when you do that. I can take it back and wordsmith it,
I would be more comfortable. Okay, I would be more comfortable with some slightly different.
I don't know if we have to do the process again or check,
What process?
the hearing,
Oh, just presenting it here.
going back to the hearing again. So process for this is, this has to go out for 10 days, allows for, individuals to read the finding of fact. Knowing that we've got a hearing, they can come in and go through the hearing process and follow that up. They didn't have anyone with the hearing process. And so the resolution has been to approve it, so.
My recommendation, I'm assuming there's legal advice you have to get here, but if a couple of words different in finding of fact changes the findings, then that's a different. I don't think we're changing the findings. You're changing how you're recording your findings, right?
Well, we are correct, so meaning that the resolution. Okay,
You don't want to change the finding of fact at all, because you have to change this one page and add a couple of words to the few spots. That's all, right? Am I interpreting that wrong?
That's what I'm suggesting, and I would be supportive of it under that scenario.
so for tonight, and I think we might be able to do this, so then. Looking at, and I think we're just talking about the 5. So under number 1, strike substantial. And say cost savings and risk reduction, the CMGC method reduces the financial risk by ensuring contract. Well, that's the truth, by ensuring contractors' financial stability, establishing guaranteed maximum price and minimizing costly change orders. Would there be anything else that would need to be changed or removed other than the word substantial in there?
And one,
Yeah,
I think you need to work on rewriting this and bring it back before a larger board. Whole board. If we have everyone here. So
Just from 1 through 5, what you're mainly referring to?
well, 1 through 4.
Or 1 through 4, sure.
well, simpler than that, I think, I shouldn't say that. I don't think 4 is wrong. It's not wrong. 1 and 3.
that's what I'm asking. I think, is there a motion to be able to get this so that I can move on with this project? That would make 1 and 3 better. So here's an example. Number 1 stated cost savings and risk reduction. Period. 2, specialized expertise. Period. 3, improved safety and coordination. Period. 4, no diminished competition or favoritism. Period. 5, compliance with ORS and OER requirements. Period.
Number 1 just said risk reduction. And then the same text after that. Paragraph that.
Well, don't believe that it creates substantial cost savings
Right,
or a risk reduction.
doesn't, or you don't think it does?
I don't think it does.
This method has a guaranteed max price where the other methods maybe don't.
If you have a hard money bid, that is your price. But then you have change orders come along to change that price. With the CMGC, they have change orders as well. Certainly they have the guaranteed maximum. But it simply means that something isn't going to get done if there isn't the money to pay for it.
We're not.
You know, if they come into something, we need $2 million dollars to finish this, this is what it would cost you in change order, you're done. So, you know, you still have risks to the project by your unknowns.
I'll make a motion. I'm in the road. Resolution 24, 25. 195, with the following edits. Point number 1. The GM/GC method likely reduces financial risk by ensuring contractor financial stability, establishing a guaranteed maximum price, period.
In the bolded section, did you keep that as it is?
If the word likely there, I'll leave the motion in the same.
So for number 1, it would be substantial cost savings and risk reductions. The CMGC method likely reduces financial risk by ensuring contractor financial stability, establishing a guaranteed maximum price. Period.
Choose fine. Say 3 and 4 to passes.
Capture the motion. The motion is to approve resolution number 2425.195 with the following edits. Number 1. Would read substantial cost savings and risk reduction. The CMGC method likely reduces financial risk by ensuring contractors' financial stability, establishing a guaranteed maximum price, period.
Well, I'm sitting here trying to think of whether you all should, or whether I should like a quorum with Superior.
Say that again.
Well, we'll have more of them there, what?
No, if I
Oh,
had you that,
oh, I see.
you lose a quorum, and
We can't
the
go.
meeting's over.
Well, meeting's not over, but you can't go.
No, the meeting's
No, yeah, we
over.
have to, if we don't have a people here, we can't. If there was only 2 of us, we could multiple.
Wording that's in the resolution is strong enough. And my feelings are strong enough in opposition to the wording. That I feel I have to do what I have to do to oppose the resolution unless it's rewritten. And then I will not support the CMGC method. But with a greater board, you know, you'll no doubt pass it.
Capture this, or make sure you guys are capturing this. We have a motion. I think what you're saying is if Rusty and Drew plan on voting yes for the motion, you're walking out, which means the meeting ends versus opposing the motion, but having the motion passed 2-1.
If I don't vote,
We can vote no,
no, but if I don't vote,
right, do that.
if I left. Then my understanding is even these two, well, that's the end of the meeting. So the motion will fail. For lack of,
You just want the rest of the board here to get their input on it as well, is that what you're thinking?
yes,
Or maybe we can. Well, we can table until next meeting either way. For the-
Sure.
Oh,
I thought we could have a meeting, just didn't think we could vote. Can we table the motion without withdrawing the motion?
If you table the motion, the motion still stands.
Yeah.
I think you'd have to withdraw the motion.
Say that again.
Stands.
If you were to table the motion, we have a motion that's approving 2425.195
Right.
with the
Right.
change that we made. That would be the vote that we would come back, that would be the motion that we would come back to.
Does the state table like through multiple board meetings, or do we have to withdraw it and redo it?
Essentially, it would, yes. That we would do it.
If we table it, does that satisfy you?
yeah,
Understand, if we table it, we're coming back to the motion.
well, we're coming back to the
Approving
same wording.
24, coming back to
The
the
rest
same
we
thing.
proposed is the wording to come back to, so those two small items.
See whether you want to table it or withdraw.
Table it, we come back to the meeting. The full board is here. The discussion continues. Motions on the floor, discussion continues.
Yeah, further discussion.
The rest of the board can weigh in. Vote no or yes. Okay,
Do I have to table?
No, there would just be another motion to table it.
and I'll move the table motion, so we have a full board.
Second. Okay, table.
Got to vote.
Oh, it's a vote, table the message. All those in favor of tabling the previous motion? Aye. Aye. Okay, you're there. All right, then it's 7.6, which is the approval of the February 20th board work session minutes. Yeah, here, approval.
I would move to approve the February minutes.
I second. All those in favor?
Aye.
I abstain. Rusty abstains. All right, board eight, any other board discussion items? We haven't talked about the one. We haven't had very much discussion today. So we're fine. Nothing? No, that's.
So, I said 4 years.
The number 9, reports and information. 9.1, elementary school report.
I,
Let's see how fast we can do this. As of February 28th, our attendance was, down 3.31%, and reasons for absences or illness was up 4%. So short month, not a lot of days, lots of sick kids. Moving on to the next piece of data, I wanted to include our mid-year benchmark data for Dibble that was fully input for this meeting, and so looking at overall scores for the whole elementary school in the fall, we tested 423 kids. At our winter benchmark, we tested 415. You can see that all categories are moving in the right direction, especially our about core plus, so grade level or above. We went from 84 students to 108 students. Celebrate. Our character trait of the month for February was empathy. Students show empathy by demonstrating friendship and kindness and being able to understand what others are feeling. This week is Classified Appreciation Week. Each day we are doing something to celebrate the people who are the true hearts of our school and we literally could not do our jobs without. On February 20th, we celebrated the 100th day of school. It was a great day full of adults and students dressed as their 100-year-old selves. Upcoming events, we have Classified Appreciation this week. Our Billy Spirit Assemblies. One thing I forgot in here is every year we partner with the Ends and do the Sluggos Reading Challenge. So Sluggo is coming on Wednesday. And it's a fan favorite assembly. Next week, PTO at 2:30. And then the 13th is Living Museum and Nachos in the evening, starting at 6. March 19th is kindergarten registration. And then spring break will be here.
Thank you. All right, 9.2 middle school report.
So our students of the month for middle school were Gabriella Contreras, Geronimo, Reese Dockery, and Ben Page. Most improved, Steele Hubbard, Alicia Jimenez, and Gavin Taylor. Citizens of the month were Alexis Mock, Tegan Cyberg, and Kate Elliott. Valentine's Day, we had our middle school first semester celebration assembly. Students and staff had an opportunity to play some games together and be recognized for grade level attendance and show school spirit by wearing their designated color for just Valentine's Day. Middle school staff has made a concerted effort to recommit to our ongoing efforts of ensuring safety, maximizing classroom space, reducing distractions, and improving student focus by having students store their backpacks and other personal belongings in the lockers assigned to them. In addition to our semester 2 behavior expectation advisory lesson on January 24th, and students with backpacks left in the hallways were specifically reminded of the expectation as went out to families on February 18th, noting the same information and expectations. We've seen a drastic increase in students utilizing their lockers. In February, we had our third middle school TNTP literacy professional development, and teachers have begun implementing their learning across the core content areas. Regular attendance by grade level, 6th grade was down 1%, 7th grade was down 3%, 8th grade was down 8%. In the month of January, our absences for appointments, illness, or medical was 73%. 12% of our students were out for vacation, or other 14% were out. In February, we had between appointment, illness, and medical 69% absences, vacation, other was 10%, 19% rate. After that, we have our average daily attendance year to date, which is slightly down at 92.32%.
9.3 high school report.
Well, it's always nice when the students come in and do the heavy lifting and what's going on, right?
Yeah, you need to say anything.
Well, they did miss the cheerleaders.
Oh, okay.
Cheerleaders won the OCCA championship.
Thanks.
So got that in there. The season is now completely over. One thing, our CTE program had an open house earlier this month to show off and showcase the programs. They had student demonstrations going on in the classrooms for parents to visit. And this last week, they also had representatives from the ESD and one from Junction City that came and toured our CTE facilities and programs led by the students. And the students did the tours, the students made demonstrations in the room. That was a good experience for both our students and the people who came to see what programs that we have. Our middle school choir competed in their first competition last week, but I haven't heard from Rick yet. Is there a
So it was on Thursday, and then they like on Friday, how they do that competition. It is classified appreciation week, has been mentioned before, and we have different things going on from from us as the administrators, the students, both middle school and high school leadership classes are doing something, lunches, and our Mr. Cole will be doing something as well. It should be a packed week for things like that. As of today, spring sports officially started today, and we have 151 high school students out for a spring activity. So out of 290 some, we have over 50% of your students are going to be involved in something in the spring. Breaks down track has 56 athletes competing, baseball has 30, softball 26. We started up a golf programming, or it's a club that we did have some kids that expressed some interest. So we have 8 students that are playing golf. Men's volleyball, which is the second year of men's volleyball, we have 10 students interested and started with that. And for the first time, we have a girls flag football team with 21 girls signed up to get that kicked off this year. Regular attenders, our attendance regular attenders is 63 or it's at 62%. And our chronic absent is 38%, but I kind of broke that down, kind of doing some interesting things. I always like to look at numbers and say what's going on. So in grade 9, we have 72 ninth graders. 48 of them were above 90% attendance and 21% were above 80% attendance. And sometimes I always think when you hear like your regular attender, you think of a person that skips every day or skips a lot. So we have, so freshmen have 96% of the students in the freshman class attend 80% or still not the goal is 90%, but just always put things in perspective when you kind of see something that flashes. I was like, oh, gee, it's only 60% of the kids are regular attendance, well, 96% come 80% of the time. You can follow that. If you can follow that. In 10th grade, we have 74 students. Above 90% is 46 of them, and 19 are between 80 and 90%, which gives us 88% of our sophomores attend 80% or more. In 11th grade, there's 75, 49 are above 90%, and 23 are between 80 and 90%. So 96% of our 11th graders attend 80% or more. 12th grade, we have 75 students, 41 are above 90%, 19 are between 80 and 90%, which gives us 80% of the seniors attend 8% or more of their classes. So basically, if you look at our irregular attenders, 30 irregular attenders. So 27% of our irregular attenders have 80% attendance. 82 irregular attenders, or 73% of our irregular attenders have 80% or better attendance. They're kind of breaking it. You can look and think, are those numbers just got I don't have in your brain, but I always try to take a look at that. And then again, as Caitlin mentioned earlier, in the month of February, we had 487 day absences, and our numbers were exactly the same. Basically 19% are the unverified absences, so 19% of those are unverified, skipping, unexcused. But I do know that there's a lot of unexcused absences, even though we know the kids were homesick. So some parents didn't call and excuse them, but they're on the list of unexcused or unexcused absences or unverified absences. 70% of our absences were illness, medical, or appointments, and then 11% of our absences were people on vacation. But just our average daily attendance sitting at 90%, and it gives you the attendance by grade, which is 9th graders are 91, 10th graders 91, 11th graders 92, which surprises me for this year, and then our seniors are at 80%. And that's
Good, thank you. Number 10, superintendent communication. Any other things for us?
OSEA negotiations were due to start February 19th. Their field representative is moving on to, I don't know if a different job with OSEA or a different job outside, so they're getting a new field representative, so they canceled on the 19th. And so our first one is actually going to be this Wednesday, March 5th. We started with negotiations.
11, board communication, 11.1. Committee or community news / announcements.
Foundation had a great event. 40, final number 40 some thousand is raised. Gross.
Over the big one.
Pardon?
But wait,
The
oh no, that's the auction.
Yeah. Well attended as usual.
Very cool. 11.2 engagement activities calendar.
So for March, we've got March 11th, the PTO meeting at 2:30, Elementary Library, the 12th, Booster Club meeting at 6 in the Student Center. 15th, we've got our Mr. Billy pageant at 7 o'clock in the High School Student Center. The 19th, Education Foundation and the Community Center at 6. Also on the 19th, we got a band concert, High School Student Center, and the 20th is a choir concert. So busy March taking us into spring break.
Excellent. Well, you guys can make the difference. All is good. No other business? All right, next number 13, next meeting will be March 17th, where we will have everybody here. So let's go to the community center, 7 p.m.